Do you know what a Michelin restaurant and airplane food have in common? At Qatar Airways, maybe more than you'd expect. Every day, they hand-prepare 200,000 meals and no one burns the rice. And no, they don't have an army of grandmas in aprons doing the cooking. So, how do they pull it off? And why does it taste better than home? Let's take a peek into the kitchen where food is served at 33,000 feet and turns into a gourmet experience. All dishes at the Qatar Airways kitchen in Doha are made by hand from scratch and supply hundreds of planes every day, whether they're heading to the other side of the world or just on a 1-hour regional flight. Each meal must be prepared roughly 48 hours before departure. That's no easy task. The biggest challenge is ensuring consistency and a smooth operation. Everything has to run with minute-level precision. From storage to prep, cooking, packaging, and loading onto the aircraft, the entire system must operate like clockwork, or better yet, like a Qatari airplane. This focus on quality and consistency is exactly why Qatar Airways has been voted the world's best airline 8 times since 2011. This cooking style used to be the norm in US or Europe, no matter which class you flew in. But today, most airlines no longer run their own kitchens. Instead, they outsource meals to external catering companies. And so, what used to be a luxury has become more of a parody. Airplane meals began being served in the 1920s, but back then, they were cold. There was no way to heat them on board. That changed in 1936 when United Airlines opened the world's first Inflight kitchen in Oakland, California, where 6 employees prepared around 60 meals a day. At the time, US airlines were federally regulated, which meant they were legally required to serve each passenger a main course, 2 sides, a salad, dessert, and a drink, all included in the ticket price. But the golden age of airline food came in the 1950s and 60s. Travel was pleasant, comfortable like your own living room, and the staff were always friendly and attentive. Flight attendants scrambled eggs right on board. Vintage posters showed them serving roast directly from a cart, and hot meals were served even in economy class. Then came a turning point in 1978 with the Airline Deregulation Act, allowing airlines to set their own prices, routes, and services. Competition increased, ticket prices dropped, but airlines looked for ways to cut costs elsewhere. And that meant food quality suffered. These days, airplane food is more of a punchline. On many domestic flights in economy, you'll get pretzels or peanuts at best, and low-cost carriers won't offer anything unless you pay extra. But it's a whole different story at Qatar Airways. Let's see what Qatar Aircraft Catering Company looks like up close, and why few others even come close. Getting into the kitchen isn't easy. You have to pass through a special air shower that removes even the smallest particles, all in the name of maximum hygiene. The operation is run by 4,000 people from 38 different countries. And to keep things fresh, they design new menus every 3 months, always from fresh ingredients. Even though almost nothing grows in Qatar, this kitchen can handle it all. They process 30 tons of fruits and vegetables daily. They use special machines, like a device that washes 12,000 peppers a day, or a special one that is capable of peeling as many as 6 watermelons every single minute, significantly speeding up the preparation process. Delicate ingredients like dragon fruit, asparagus, or strawberries are peeled by hand. The hot kitchen smells of garlic, onions, and cumin. Chefs prepare meals from various cuisines, Indian, Arabic, or Asian, depending on the passenger's origins. For the popular Indian aloo tikki, they use 300 potatoes a day. The kitchen processes 36,000 fresh eggs weekly, plus another 3.5 tons of pasteurized egg whites to make 12,000 omelets daily. Even simple things like sausages or pasta are made from scratch, not frozen. If you order ravioli in economy class, you're getting fresh pasta. They bake 10,000 croissants every hour, and even traditional Italian savory bread with olive oil and herbs is prepared by hand. Desserts like chocolate brownies are also freshly made, even in economy. A select team of chefs handles food tasting. They have a special tasting room where senior chefs try the dishes, give feedback, and if something's not up to par, the dish gets reworked from scratch. Qatar Airways operates 270 international flights out of Doha every day. On average, 350 meals are served on each flight. Meals are not frozen, just chilled for a maximum of 1 day to preserve flavor and texture. Each tray is chilled for 90 minutes, the temperature checked with an infrared thermometer, and trays are barcoded for tracking. In the cold kitchen, over 12,000 sandwiches are made daily. Each has an exact composition and weight. Even cucumbers must be sliced with millimeter precision so everything fits perfectly. For short-haul flights, passengers mainly get fruit bowls, dips, and light snacks in a grab-and-go style. Economy class meals are portioned directly onto trays along long conveyor belts, where staff work in strict hygienic conditions. Business class meals are packed into foil containers that cabin crew later decorate with fresh herbs and plate to enhance presentation, because visual appeal is part of the experience too. Qatar Airways offers up to 18 special dietary options, from religious, like halal or pork-free, to gluten-free, vegan, low-calorie, children's meals, or diabetic-friendly. Economy and first class have around 50 menu options. Business class goes up to 150, depending on the route, departure time, and flight length. For instance, a morning flight from Doha to London has a completely different menu than a night flight to Tokyo. All cutlery is made from real metal. Each piece is dried and hand-polished after washing. The airline also aims to reduce single-use plastics, replacing them with eco-friendly alternatives like wooden stirrers or biodegradable bowls. Qatar is hot and dry with no rivers or lakes, so most food must be imported. Still, Qatar Airways actively partners with local farms, sourcing fresh tomatoes, spinach, cucumbers, and pak choi cabbage. These ingredients go straight to the kitchen without unnecessary storage. Trays with meals are loaded into carts, which travel through a 1.5-mile system of tunnels and elevators inside the building, like a kind of culinary metro. On board, modern ovens allow for precise temperature and humidity control for each dish. That's important, because at cruising altitude around 30,000 feet, we lose up to 30% of our sensitivity to sweet and salty flavors. Dry air and pressure also dull our sense of smell, which is why airplane food often tastes bland. But newer aircraft like the A350 or Boeing 787 have higher humidity and lower cabin pressure, significantly improving the onboard dining experience. Qatar Aircraft Catering Company monitors daily what passengers eat and what they return. This data is used to improve recipes and portion sizes. Everything has to work like clockwork. Planes must depart on time, and food must be fresh, safe, and delicious. This is a behind-the-scenes look at one of the greatest catering operations in the world. Qatar Airways proves that even in economy, food can be an experience. And what about you? What's your experience with airplane food? If you liked this video, subscribe so you don't miss more interesting stories. I'm Kika, and this is Karamba. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.